Yes. Oh, screw you. You do not get to play this game. Okay, here's how the conversation... Jeremy's in chat. Basically... Oh, wait, no, you're not muted, but I can't hear any of you. One second. Properties. Got this, I got this taken care of. Hello. Say things.
One's here, too. Oh,
there
my
we go.
Goodness.
Guys! Can't hear anyone. Oh, no.
Ironically, aren't those literally the two people we talked about?
Yeah, those are the two people we talked about.
So, genuinely, for those of you who missed it, what happened right before chat, we were talking about how Devin's sitting there buttering up Jenna because it's true, honestly. Most of the best content creators are in Canada. Dear Lord. Most of the best content creators are in Canada. We love them all. All these Canadians are just like Chris George, Foster the Meeple, Jenna. I'm sure I'm leaving out 14 others. All You Can Board.
Yeah.
Rodney. Oh, dear Lord. Dear Lord.
Hot Rod.
And then literally, Devin's like, but Tim Chun's not yours, right? And we're like, no, he's ours. We got him. And I was like, what about Jeremy Howard? And he's like, oh, I love Jeremy. So
Jeremy's my baby.
I will say this will get super
my work
awkward
wife.
when someone else from the US pops into chat, because it was literally only those two. Sorry, guys. But with that said, welcome to the weekly live. We have a bunch of things going on here. We're doing the best we can. I am a bit overwhelmed and hectic and chaos, and I'm going to let other people just slowly take over in a minute, because I just spent the past 35 minutes trying to set up new screens and get things imported and do all the stuff. Things will go crazy. Things will have a problem, and I will ultimately do the best I can to not stress out, because no one else cares. I'm just the one who cares. Also,
it would have probably been
fine.
easier. You were kind of like late to the Discord chat, so I mean, it would have been easier if you weren't so late.
I know this is like live, and you probably shouldn't make death threats, but I'm gonna stab you. Anyways, also big thanks to Kevin who's in the chat. The only reason that's not true. The reason Jen is here this week is because of Devin. The reason Jen is because of Kevin, not Devin. The reason Jen is here in general is because she's a lovely human being, and I told her she'd be on the show. Just Kevin made it happen today. With that said, okay, so we're going to start this off. We got our usual format. We're going to have a game of the week that we're talking about, whatever it is, a game of the week. We're going to have our topic of the week, which is how gaming can be a problem. This is always sponsored by our Patreon community. They choose the topics. We just talk about them. And then we have Devin running a quiz show. I have no idea how that's going to turn out, but I'm going to do the best I can. To that end, the first things first, for those of you who don't know who this individual is who's with us today, we have Jenna from the Board Game Garden, who's one of the best Canadian YouTuber personalities and all that stuff, along there with, the others that I mentioned earlier. And she's joining us today because, well, why not? Why not? Yeah. Anyways, yeah.
Friends. But
Jenna, let's tell everyone, what's your show about? Where can they find you? All the usual short stuff.
I'm a Board Game Garden and Board Game Garden TV now, actually, too, because I live stream on Twitch every Tuesday and Sunday. And I now started to put the Twitch things onto YouTube, and I started making YouTube videos back in May of last year, so I haven't been doing it for too long. And yeah, it's all about just board games. I really like board games, so I love talking about them, and just having like a chill environment, very cozy. Everyone says cozy and welcoming.
So one of the things that's interesting, just to give my own pitch as to why I first found you and enjoyed your content, is it's very hard to find something new in the board game space. Everyone's reviewing things, everyone's doing their thing, and it takes something interesting to be like, something about that stood out. And sometimes it's because there's amazing B-roll and quality of production. Sometimes it's just the energy someone brings to the show. In your case, it very much was. It felt like a board game lifestyle show. And this was when you first started on your old channel originally, but it felt like you were combining lifestyle and board games in a way that just felt different than anything anyone else was doing, which is what pulled me in. Cozy. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. I've been on YouTube for like 8 years, so... And like I made a bunch of just like random lifestyle content, so...
That's awesome.
Just went straight from that to board games.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And with that, Devin has the best dimples. I'm missing chat here. Devin does have wonderful dimples, and Devin's doing construction to his room to make it into an actual studio. But yeah, would love to have Paul and Brother Smurf in the chat as well. Are they here?
No, other like US people.
They are pretty awesome. For the record, I can tell you this. Like I've been doing we're doing a whole convention thing that'll be happening at some point, and I've been going through.
Jeremy gave Jenna a shout out though.
I've been going through all the people who I've been slowly inviting, and that's how I know who's in US and Canada, because all the Canadians I'm inviting, like expecting none of them to attend, although we may have gotten some already, and all the US people, all the people who have mentioned today have been invited. Tim, Jeremy, Brothers Murph, Paula. Now I'm not saying who's attending or not. That's a whole different conversation. But we are hitting we clearly agree on the good peoples. But with that said, Devin, do you want to take us off with your game of the week?
My game of the week is actually the same game that I talked about. I just recently recorded a podcast episode with the Board Game Barbecue, and my game of the week is A Feast for Odin.
Shocker.
I'm having so much fun with this game. The
only reason I didn't pick is I figured between you or Meg it was showing up.
I'm having a delightful time with it. There's so many ways to play that game. It is delightful. I'm not the biggest Euro player in terms of like the collection that I have, but I do own it. I haven't, I'm ready to play it physically very soon with maybe the Norwegians expansion. I just have to bring only the cards with me to my next trip.
There are no cards.
And I love it because it's worker placement, and then you also have an insane option of what you can do with 1, 2, and 3 workers, and so much strategy. I feel like I've played this game 5 or 6 times now and done. I'm literally still at the point where I'm pulling levers. I'm like, oh, what if I try to go between these spaces for this game and see what happens? Holy cow, Kevin! Holy
What?
dear goodness.
Kevin, that's illegal.
That does feel like it's illegal. That does feel like it's illegal.
So nice.
Kevin.
Well, it makes me feel a whole lot better about sending off Forbidden Stars this way.
Did you send it to him?
Of course I did.
Yeah.
I got it boxed up and shipped out yesterday.
Awesome. I hope you enjoy it, Kevin.
Yeah, I was going back and forth. I wanted to keep it, but I realized after DI was the clincher. I was like, nope, it's gone. There's another area control I love. Forbidden Stars is gone.
DI was the clincher. Anyways, Feast for Odin, though. I like it a lot. I also have not had the best scores overall, and then happened to have the best score that I've ever had playing against Alex, and he was not happy about it.
Because I didn't even know what it was for you. You scored like 117 while I've been dancing around 100 on a regular basis. Yeah. And like it was so, I was like, and you didn't even say anything. You didn't even act like it was cool. Like I would have been like, oh my gosh, it's my best score ever. And you like just didn't say a thing.
So the thing is I still don't know how much that is. I haven't looked at like what scores are in that game, because I feel like at one point when I first played it by myself, an asynchronous game like last year on BGA, I was like, I got like 66, and I was like, is this good? And people were like, I've been honing my strategy and I'm up to like 180, and I'm like, okay, I still suck. Sounds good. So
I got a comment from somebody saying that they got to 184, and I was like, I'm not even going to try for that. But general online thingies, because like Meg and I both looked into this, general online stuff seems to indicate around 100 plus is a good score. How much over that, there's definitely ranges of better, but like 100 plus is like a number to be aiming for. Which I've hit like 2 times out of like 14 plays. I think 3 times. Yeah. But like I've already hit my 12 by 12 challenge with this game. I've been diving into it heavily, and now
wow.
Wow.
I feel like there wasn't pressure, and then the chat was like, Devin's gonna beat you, and you were like,
playable solo too.
Alex, Jenna, Meg, you two have to listen to this. Alex calls me, and it's usually him and I have some banter. And we're chatting a little bit, and we're like, hey, how are you? How's your day going? Love you, boo. Like, what's going on? Let's chat about stuff. And then he calls me, and he goes, first thing out of his mouth, how many times you played Feast for Odin? And I was like, 3. And he goes, I'm at 3 too. And it was just like...
That was then. It's been a week, Devin. Man up.
It's been a week. He's played 9 more times.
Yeah.
Ridiculous.
So it's playable solo as well. So I got him because part of my 12 by 12 challenge is playing in different formats. So I want to play at different player counts, different, including solo, and with, of course, the Norwegians. The only thing I have left right now is Norwegians. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Anyways.
I didn't know you had a Norwegian gaming group.
You're so no. The Norwegians are helping with my 12 by 12 challenge a lot. They are very specific about the games they want, and all my games smell of fish now. But it's still helpful.
A lot of Endless Winter.
A lot of Endless Winter.
That seems like strangely stereotyping the only food that you assume an entire group of people eats. Well, also like do Italian people smell like pasta? Like
no, but their board games do. Their board games do.
Doesn't make any sense.
Anyways, Jenna, what's your game of the week?
My game of the week is It's a Wonderful World.
Ooh.
Yes, I absolutely love It's a Wonderful World. I got it 2 months ago, about. And I've played it both multiplayer and solo. And it is such a fantastic puzzle of trying to figure out what cards to build. Basically, in the game, I guess I should explain. In the game, you have cards, like in Seven Wonders, which a lot of people say that it's very similar to Seven Wonders, which it's not. Stop comparing them.
Nobody
Absolutely not.
Nobody go online and search Seven Wonders versus the Wonderful World. Don't do it. Don't do it. Nobody
Did
do it.
you do this, Alex?
Nobody do it. Nobody do it.
The only similarity is that you're drafting cards, pretty much,
Yeah,
and getting cards.
It's a good thing I didn't do a video on that.
So you're drafting cards and you're putting them into a line, and then you have your planning phase where you're deciding what cards you want to build and which ones you want to recycle to get the specific resources in order to build those buildings. And then once you build a building, it goes into your production, that gets you more resources to build buildings. And it's great, and I love it, and I can't stop playing it. The solo is fun. Yeah, it's a great game.
I'd happily play that game with you. I love that game.
Yeah. I haven't tried any of the expansions, which I want
Neither
to.
have I. We should
So,
do that.
you should totally play the expansion. Corruption and Ascension, is that what it's called?
Yeah.
Mhm.
So the Corruption and Ascension expansion,
Corruption and Ascension, and then it's
it's
War
literally a
Peace.
paragraph of rules. There's no extra rules to it. If you have it, dive into it. It's literally a paragraph. It's like, hey, throw these cards in and decide how you want to draft.
I knew that's what you were going to say.
Because I'm pretty sure, Devin, if I recall correctly, at one point we were supposed to
Exactly,
play
you
it.
told me.
I was messaging Devin and I was like, okay, I'll take care of these rules, you take care of those rules. And then like a minute I was like, okay, I'm reading the rules for Corruption and Ascension. And then like 30 seconds later I was like, I'm done. What now? Because I opened the rule book because there's scenarios because of the solo mode. So there's scenarios. So the rule book looks like there's actual content there, but the actual rules are a paragraph. So it's easy to throw in, and I like it significantly more than with that expansion.
They have a third expansion coming out too, I think. They just announced it not too
Oh, that's
long
awesome.
ago.
Cool.
Yeah.
Have you? Do you and Francis like two-player head-to-head games?
Yes.
You
we
should
do.
try the Wonderful Kingdom and see what you think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it-
we love Radlands Seven Wonders Duel.
Yep, I think you would like Wonderful Kingdom then if you like
Mhm.
both of those.
Well, so Wonderful Kingdom introduces, and a lot of things are the same, and it adds some interesting like scenario kind of additions and for like monsters or things you're fighting and stuff like that. The one thing that might make it not for everyone is that there's a degree of bluffing. There's a degree of cards that you play down as traps, and so you're kind of saying, okay, great, I'm placing this card, and this one's face down. Maybe it's a good thing that I want to take in a second, but maybe it's something you'll take. And so if you don't like the concept of bluffing and mind, like the double think and mind play and all that, well then it might not be for you. But past that, it's very tight. It works. Yeah.
Yeah.
In any
Definitely
case,
try it.
Meg, to you.
I don't think we've ever done this before, and I don't know what to do. I think usually on the fly we switch it out, but we have our first ever in-video crossover. Mine was going to be a Feast for Odin as well.
Nice.
I love how I
And
didn't
after Devin
bother.
said, I was like, do I think of something different? But
Nobody.
I'm really, really obsessed with it. So I didn't like talk too much about it when you were talking, Devin, because I knew I was going to talk about it. But the thing I can't let go of is that I started doing the boats, flipping the boats,
Immigration.
immigrating them. I try to do it turn 1, and I try to do 2 in 1 turn between like turns 3 and 5. And I like fill that board, and then you don't have to feed anybody. And I don't think it's the best strategy. I think doing some of it is, but having to fill it isn't the best strategy. But I just can't let it go. Like every time I'm like, well, what else do I do? And whatever, but I have 2 wood. I guess I'll do this whole chain again and flip my boats.
This is like the pools all
So-
over again.
The immigration one that I've done, my second highest score was when I literally spent my entire game just going for immigration, and I got like 96 points.
Mhm.
And the game I played against Alex, I did it every other. I did it a little bit at a time throughout the whole game, so I did it halfway. The game I had against Alex, I didn't really focus in the game that I played. The all immigration, I was like long ship, most points. Long ship, most points. The game I played against Alex, I actually bought the Nar dual ship, and then I would. There's a space that I saw it early in the first few plays, and I tried it against Alex, and I liked it a lot. And it is a single spot. I mean, you can do it with one worker, and it's if you have a Nar, you pay 1 silver, and you upgrade any number of different green goods. And so I would just spend I'd get like 5 or 6 or 7 different types of green goods, and then I would change all of them to blue. And then I'd fill up my board with that because I didn't have to worry about them touching because none of them were green. And so then what I would do is I would get a NAR, I'd build up, I would trade, and then I'd immediately immigrate that NAR, and then I'd buy a new NAR. And that combo of half immigration, half trading, that's what did it for me.
Yeah,
Yeah,
me,
I was doing that a lot. That I really enjoy doing that. And the NARs are also only 5 silver. So I was trying to make one and buy one the same turn and immigrate one. And when you can do that, it's a lot of fun. That like I was doing it and then having the ship to get an island, and then you can grab an island and get like 12 silver off of it or something.
Can you just, when you're in BGA and you go to that section and it shows the cost of boats,
can you just buy boats?
You can just buy boats, Devin.
It doesn't use a worker at all.
And they are inherently worth the points on them automatically. So the only question is whether you need the money.
This game is amazing.
Yeah.
Jenna, have you played Feast for Odin?
No, but I was gonna say it's funny that you guys are actually talking about it this week because I'm literally in my first game of a Feast for Odin on BGA right now,
Nice.
Can we play
and
together?
I have no idea what I'm doing.
Can we play together?
Yes, 100%.
We should do this.
I want
Yeah.
to.
I'm excited.
Yeah, it's a great game. Although this conversation might be a
George
little
has
less
been playing
interesting.
with me, and in chat, he's just like, "You can just buy boats."
Wait, is he joking or is he just making fun of you?
No, he's played with
No,
me,
George
and I
just
didn't know
learned how to
that, so
play.
he didn't know that.
George, you can buy boats. This chat.
I only just learned.
Successful says Devin taught me his Feast Road, and you can see the quality of info I'm getting. Guys, I taught myself through the tutorial that was made by a user on BGA. I'm not comprehensive here.
Anyways,
Well, it's not like Devin taught you the game, had you play through a full round, and then said, "Okay, now discard half of it."
oh, we are not doing this. We are not doing this. It's okay. I don't know if you saw it earlier. Swab Mom's like, Jenna understands the rules of chat. Nice and like Jenna. She said Jenna understands the rules of chat. Immediately start saying things to bother Alex, or immediately call out Alex or whatever it was.
Me too.
No, these are the rules of chat. This is how this
Wait,
works.
so question, like the islands, can you also just buy those?
Nope.
No.
Well, there's also another silver thing to something else. Maybe it's the
Wait. Do you know that the islands are getting 2 silver every round? And that means when you take an island, you're getting all the
didn't know
silver
that.
underneath that?
I didn't know that.
Every round that goes by, the islands accumulate
How did
silver.
I beat you?
Oh! We're gonna have words. Anyways, Nutrizo, can I tell Jenna that me and my girlfriend love her so much? I think you just did. So yes.
Oh, thank you.
Aww.
But that said, I'll dive into my game of the week, and my day game of the week is Teneris Adventures Arena of the Contest. I started diving into this with the Meg last week, and have continued diving into it myself, and this is one that I already love, Arena of the Contest. And Arena of the Contest, for those who don't know, it's basically a giant skirmish game that has a cooperative campaign mode as well, where you control like up to 8, I think in the co-op mode, you control 4 characters as you basically try to take down people in a dungeon crawler with skills and abilities and all this. I've loved the original game, and I've been waiting for Teneris Adventures, which finally showed up, and it is a rough start as far as tutorial goes. It's not the cleanest system as far as getting you up and running, but once you are up and running again, and I'm walking with knowing most of the core system, it is still a blast. It's powers and abilities, it's using a bunch of characters, combining them and all the cards and the unique ways that they have to approach the game, with a lot of leveling up and procedural aspects in the game that Teneris really loaded it in. And one of the things I like about it is the fact that it's a game system that you have tons of characters, but as you go through the campaign, all the characters in the game are kind of considered to be available. So you don't have to like stick to a whole like 20 missions, whatever is with the same character. Just swap them out when you want. When you want to keep learning and exploring a character, keep using them. And when you don't, you go ahead and when you don't, you go ahead and just use different characters and mix it up however you want. So overall, really enjoying that one. It's just a lot of fun. And
I've never heard of it.
You never heard of it? Do you do dungeon crawlers at all, Jenna?
No.
Have you any interest
I
in
was
them?
playing Teneris earlier though this week, and I was like, I finally realized when I was playing it that I was like, you could just straight up buy dragons. Like you don't have to like do the work to get them. Like you just pay the silver cost and you just get the dragons.
Yes. I mean, if you mean real world dollars to get the Painted Dragon collection, yeah, you're right.
Evan, I'm so gullible. I was about to be like, "Are you serious?"
He did not.
Like,
He did
I
not.
was hyped for a minute, and then I saw the sarcasm in your face, and I was like, "I'm being trolled right now."
Oh
Yeah.
my goodness.
I would say, Alex, the playing through what we played for experienced players and people who do know like the genre and dungeon crawlers, I felt that the first scenario was way too slow.
The first scenario was
So they just jumped you door to door and stuff. I would say just skip it if anyone does pick it up and you feel comfortable just jumping into a game like that.
Yeah, the first scenario kind of levels you up with one thing at a time. So it's like, oh, hey, you can use attacks now. Oh, you can use skills, and now you can use items.
Yeah.
And it does it in a way that's very procedural. I would say that even the second scenario is still a little bit on wheels, and the third scenario, and it's something I really hate as well. The second scenario is something I really hate in the sense that it's like, hey, here's this extra difficult challenge you can do that normally will give you extra stuff, but this time it doesn't. But just do it, because why not? But you don't have to. You win if you do this.
Yeah.
And I'm just going to finish the game then and do the difficult challenge when it matters, as opposed to now. And so the second scenario as well had a few things like that. It's really the third scenario is when it starts to feel like it's off training wheels and you're actually playing the game. But I very much like it. I don't know if it's necessarily for everyone. It's a lot going on. In fact, there's a part of me that almost wants to recommend Arena the Contest over Teneris, because I actually fell in love with Arena a lot faster, and Teneris is making it a little bit more of a slog. And I'll need 5-10 more plays to tell you whether the payoff is better. Because right now I have the slog, and currently I'm at the phase where the payoff is the same. So we'll see. But I still love it. Yep. And with that, we are currently, I believe, on to something that is going to be our game show of the week, run by Devin, where the rules don't matter, apparently, because that's how it goes over here.
The rules never matter.
We have a game today.
We have
And
a
you
game.
know what? I'm going to let you screen share it. And guys, sorry, I need to go to the bathroom. Alex just took so much time before we even got started. He just didn't let us go anywhere, and he was taking forever with overlays. So it's quite exhausting. It was really rude of him, and so I'm going to go to the bathroom real quick.
On the plus side, we have a Jeopardy board.
Ooh, Jeopardy!
Devin set up a
Okay,
Jeopardy
so
board.
Alex, you can't. Can you make it smaller? Because I can't see the title.
So that is a problem, because I didn't know what Devin was making when I made this overlay, and I just am used to sharing game photos. But I believe the title to the left is Top 100, is my assumption, and the title to the right we'll have to ask him. But that's the best way to do it. No, I can't. Oh, I mean, I guess I could see if I look at it. That's probably a good fair point. I'm looking at the other thingy. Let's just go ahead and look at the. I'm looking at the stream settings as opposed to this. Where is
So
this?
I think if you zoom out on the
It's
Skype
Devin.
call, it'll probably just give you a white border around the blue for us.
I am happy to try that, but I make no guarantees that I'll stick with
Let's
it,
hold control and scroll down.
because you need to make it smaller. I can do the black border.
There you go. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's not as pretty looking. It looked prettier before. The way I did it was a little artsy. It just wasn't designed around
the
his.
last one is Devin.
Yeah, it's Devin. So now we have Devin. Okay.
Oh my god, I'm gonna be so bad at this.
What's up, guys?
Nothing.
I'm back. So here's how this is going to work. And this, so Meg, Jenna, and Alex, I want you guys to be honest with me. I'm going to
hair
keep
does
the
not
board
look good.
open.
What, Alex?
said
I
your
really
hair
just
does-
wanted
I
to
said
like
your hair
get
does
scissors
not
and
look good.
just cut some hair off real quick. But I don't have the follow through. So,
Oh, Devin,
I
I believe you have follow through.
You're so right. I would just go get my hair cut later today if I did that. All right. So what the game plan is this is Jeopardy. It's got 1 through 500, five ones. It gets increasingly harder in each category. What I would like you three as contestants to do is simply refer to this board only when you're picking what category you want at what point value, because I have to click into it, which is then going to show the question. And I don't want you guys to read the question because people have different reading speeds. So I would prefer you guys to, once you know what the section is going to be in the value, to kind of just like look away so that I can read it fully before you guys try to do like buzzing.
So in order to do that, I have to move my screen to the side so I'm not directly looking at it. But it's cool. We're good now.
Sure. So
He's
we are
looking.
going to start with Jenna because she's our guest and she's going to get to pick the first category. And I haven't done this before. Do you guys? So like Meg, Alex, you just see who raises their hand first? That's kind of what I was.
We've been buzzing. Raising the hand relies way too much on.
Sure, we'll just do audible buzz then.
So just to be so this is correctly. So one contestant picks the question, picks the category.
Yeah.
You are going
And
to
then I
read the
read it.
question, and at any
And then
point during the
I'll answer
question, somebody can buzz.
Yep,
But if they buzz,
And
you
then-
stop reading.
exactly.
Okay. And then what's the point system?
The point system is 1, 2, 3, 4, or 500.
That's reasonable.
It's the
That's-
way that Jeopardy works.
I don't
Yeah,
watch
yeah.
Jeopardy.
Oh, gotcha. It's probably on Friday nights, so that makes sense.
I don't think I've
Does
ever watched
only-
Jeopardy.
Usually in Jeopardy, only one person answers the question, though.
Yes, one person
we can
answers
all-
it, but then if the
Boo-boo.
person misses it, if you successfully get it, you pick the next category. If you don't, the other people have a chance to steal.
Okay, so that's where the
Okay.
dings come in.
And so if Jenna buzzes first and misses it, Meg and I still need to buzz.
Yes.
So there's no default second person. There's a buzzing. Okay, cool.
Yep. And we'll see how it goes. So, whew, all right,
Just stretch.
Jenna, where do you want to start? Do you want to start with BGG Top 100, photographic memory, art and design, components, or Devon?
Epic. I'm gonna go with photographic memory for 200.
Photographic memory for 200. All right, guys, I'm going to read off the question. The number of dragons on the cover of Role Player Adventures.
Buzz.
Buzz?
That was Alex on my end.
I'm horrified because I think the answer is 1, but now I'm nervous. I'm going to say, I'm going to stick with it. I'm going to say 1.
Incorrect.
Buzz?
Meg.
3? What is 3, Devin?
Incorrect.
Is it 2?
It is 2.
Do we have to answer what is 2? Do we have to do it this way?
I think
What is
thematically you guys should say what is or who
Yeah.
is and stuff like that.
I've always hated that concept.
So,
I just
all
won
right.
that by
Jenna is
elimination.
on the board with 200 points.
Woo!
And we will go
Okay.
back. And now that one is gone.
Now, hard question here. Are we enforcing the question thing?
Are we enforcing what question? No.
Okay,
You,
just checking.
you don't have to. No, you don't have to say that. Okay, Jenna, you got the question right. So
Somehow.
you pick the next category.
Let's do components for 100.
Components for 100. All right, guys, I'm going to read this off. The game with Rooster Meeples.
Oh, beep.
Buzz.
I think Jenna got that.
Viticulture.
It is viticulture, which Alex and I were not aware of.
Yeah, you guys had such a hard time with that one.
Oh,
I was just at home
so-
being like, it's viticulture. It's viticulture.
All right, Jenna's still got control of the board.
I'm just gonna do Devin for 500.
Devin for 500. Alrighty. That is the bold choice, Cotton. Let's see if that strategy works out for you. All right. Reading the question.
I just wanna
The
see if
first
Alex
game
or
he
Meg.
ever covered on his channel.
Oh my gosh, the first game. I should know this on your channel, not the first game you were on my channel.
Yep.
This is what I was hoping for. That Alex and Meg wouldn't know it either.
I'm having a good time with this.
I was
did-
honestly looking recently because your thumbnails were different back then.
He's right. He did 3 videos, stopped, and then continued. I think it was 3
Yeah.
Oh
videos.
no! So not those 3 are deleted. They're off the channel.
Oh.
I'm talking about what is currently available on the channel in what was like the publicly seeable stuff. And those other 3 ones weren't really even like main coverage.
I'm just gonna
Beep.
buzz.
Beep. No, I said beep first.
So Jenna, so what's up?
Everdell.
Incorrect.
Please, that's still in shrink.
Alex. Alex?
I'm buzzing in. I'm just gonna go with it. I think I'm wrong, but Forbidden Stars.
That is the second game that
Oh!
is on the channel. Meg, you have a chance. It's not one that necessarily makes sense.
That's what Devin, I was looking like very, very recently. And I want to say it's one that I know it's not this, but I'll say Final
If-
Girl because I know that was within like the beginning-ish.
You are within the realm of solo gaming. It is Black Sonata,
Ugh.
Mm,
which is why
Nice.
it was the hardest one because it's random. Okay, so
I think
now
I got
whoever
it.
was still in control, which was Jenna, you get to continue to pick the category.
Okay, let's do. Photographic memory for 300.
Photographic memory for 300. Reading the question. What the raccoon is holding on the cover of Creature Comforts?
Beep.
Dang
Meg.
it.
Is it a bindle?
Incorrect.
creature comfort.
I don't
pulled
super
this
know
off-
this game,
I
that's why I
pulled
was
this
like-
off your Instagram.
But-
Really? Ding. Is it an
Um,
acorn?
Incorrect.
Buzz.
Dang it.
Alex?
Wood.
I don't think that counts.
A bundle of wood.
No. What is an axe or a hatchet?
No.
Mm.
Dang it.
Jenna maintains
Okay.
control.
Jenna, you're still having in control of the board.
Wow. Let's do components for 200.
Components for 200. The company that introduced brass miniatures for one of
Buzz.
their games. Alex.
Chip Theory Games. Who is Chip Theory Games?
Correct. Or what I said what it is.
What is?
Yeah, it's fine. Okay, Alex, you're in control of the board. You got
Check.
components for 200.
Let's keep it nice and simple. Let's go Devin for 100.
Devin for 100. All right, reading the question. His favorite type of liquor.
Buzz?
Meg.
Tequila?
Hell yeah!
Of course you would know.
Meg. Meg's my girl.
Tequila!
All right, Meg. you. I love chat. They're like, why is Chip Theory Games? How is Chip Theory Games? When is Chip Theory Games?
When is Chip Theory Games?
Okay, Meg, you're in control of the board.
Let's go for Devin for 300.
Hell yeah. All right, read the question. His favorite Premier League football team.
I'm just gonna play a game over here.
I knew Alex was going to get this. I was like, I'm going to make none of these about board games except for the final one. I love asking board game people not board game questions.
I don't even know what the eligible answers are.
Yeah, I don't know.
Just say the
I don't know
country?
football.
Is that an answer?
I will say their team since none of the three of you know, their team mascot is the Gunners, is the name of the team's mascot. So
Buzz.
they're currently, yep,
The Rickfield Sliders.
incorrect.
Okay.
Their coach is Mikel Arteta. They are based in London. They're at top of the Premier League right now for the first time in a long time.
Wow, that's awesome.
I'll skip past it. It's who is Arsenal
Good to
FC? So, the Meg. I believe it's you still, Meg.
Let's do art and design for 100.
Ooh.
Art and design for 100. Okay. The designer of Codenames.
Buzz.
Alex.
Vladish Vato.
That is correct.
Who is Vladish Vato?
Yep.
Where is?
Okay, Alex, you're in control of the board. Where?
We haven't done the BGG Top 100, and I do like that category. So let's do BGG Top 100 for 400, so that we've done
For
the first column and row.
400. Oh,
First of each.
Man. Okay. All right. 400. Oh, you're doing like spatial pathing.
Yeah, and
right
the
there.
column and row, we knocked it out.
We need to make sure we get everything at least
Deduction.
once before we move into double.
Evan, what was the answer to the football thing?
Arsenal.
Arsenal.
Also, I love that Richard said chat knows Devin better than his friend.
Chat is Devin's friends. After this, his only
okay.
ones.
All right. After this is over. All right. The oldest game in the BGG Top 100.
Buzz.
Alex.
Go.
Incorrect. Unless I'm wrong.
Is it in the top 100?
I don't think it is, but maybe
It
I'm
might not be.
wrong.
It might not be. I'll check. Go ahead.
Yeah, well,
I'll check.
Meg.
I'm gonna be wrong no matter what I say.
Alex, is it in the top 100?
It's 195.
Okay, all right.
The problem is now I know the answer.
Are you unbuzzed? Can I buzz?
I'm unbuzzing.
What?
Yeah, Jenna.
What is crokinole?
Yes.
Hell yeah!
As soon as it wasn't go. Oh my gosh.
Hey.
Jenna up with 700 now after that big 400
I
point
love how
jump.
even
All
when
right.
Devin's not doing Devin, he's still doing Devin.
Oh, all right. Jenna,
Okay.
you're in control of the board.
Let's do components for 300.
Components for 300. The game with a bloodlust marker.
Buzz.
Buzz. Oh,
Meg,
Final
Dang it.
girl.
you are correct.
Hee.
Meg, you just got... Oh, sorry, I need to show the answer.
go Canada.
So, all right, Meg, you are in control of the board now.
Let's do art and design for 200.
Art and design for 200. Reading the question. The artist of tapestry.
Buzz.
Alex,
Andrew Bosley.
My
you are correct.
Who is
Yeah.
Andrew Bosley?
ah.
All right, Alex. Alex, it's like, guys, I'm getting points. Finally. Oh my goodness.
I
was worried. I wasn't
Hey,
gonna get
hey,
points.
it's close. It's getting close. It's okay.
He's like, guys, I was losing.
Let's keep it light. Let's give it an opportunity for Meg to square up with photographic memory for 100.
Photographic memory for 100. The biggest creature on the Everdell cover.
Buzz.
Alex,
A raccoon?
incorrect.
Buzz.
Meg,
I think I only know what this is because it came up with Alex, and I would originally call this a mole, but I believe it's a badger.
what is a badger is correct.
I
Yep.
should have said badger. That's what I meant, not the raccoon. Oh my gosh.
All
Alex,
right,
what
well,
was this, a week or two ago?
No.
Yes, you called something else.
Moles.
There's a picture of something
Badger,
else you
badger, badger.
you thought it was the wrong thing. Yeah, I don't remember what it was.
Yeah.
Screaming Frog. The score is at the bottom, but it's just really small on the.
It's
overlay.
500 for Alex and 500 for Meg. With Jenna at the lead, it's 700.
Yeah. All right,
Let's go.
Meg,
Wow.
you tied it up with
400.
Alex, and you're in control. What?
Devin for 400.
Devin for 400. Let's see what non-board game question this is.
I hate you.
His favorite graphic novel series.
Buzz,
Alex?
Girls on Bikes?
That's
That's an RPG, isn't
series
it?
I think you're thinking of Paper Girls, but
Paper
no,
Girls,
that's,
okay. Yeah.
Curiously enough, the same writer who did Paper Girls.
Paper Girls, that's
I
the
don't
one,
know if that's cheating to give extra information. So incorrect for Alex.
Buzz?
Meg.
I feel like this is wrong, but it's the only one I can guess. Saga?
What is Saga?
Oh no!
Nice.
Meg, you just jumped up to 900 points.
Oh my gosh!
Oh,
Meg knows
What?
Devin, apparently. Meg knows Devin.
She's like Tequila and Saga.
Let's go Devin for 200.
Devin for
no.
200.
Oh, no.
Meg's going on the point train. His favorite video game console company.
Buzz?
Meg.
PlayStation?
What is Sony PlayStation? Meg is
say
getting
that.
some points. All right, Meg, you have soared into the lead in a way that is insanely frustrating Alex internally right now. So, which just makes me happy.
It's okay, Alex. I'm a better friend.
Alex is like, yes, but I know board games better.
You're not wrong.
Do
You're both not wrong.
Let's do components for 400.
Components for 400. The two types of links in Brass
Buzz.
Birmingham. Alex.
Canal and rail.
What are canal and rail links?
Dang
Alex
it.
jumped up to 900. Alex is like,
I'm back. We're back on board games, and the rest of the questions are all board games. I hope.
He's like, guys, we're good right now.
Let's go with let's take the hundreds off the board with what is BGG top 100 for 100.
All right, asking the question. The game that recently claimed the number
Buzz.
one
Buzz.
spot. Oh, Jenna.
Brass Birmingham.
What is Brass Birmingham? You beat Alex to the punch, and Jenna, you have control of the board at 800.
Let's do art and design for 300.
Art and design for 300. Reading it off. The artist with credits on all 3 games of Blood Rage, Rising Sun,
Buzz.
and Ankh Gods. Alex.
Who is Adrian Smith?
Who is Adrian Smith? Alex up to 1,200 and is now officially taken the lead. He's like, board game questions. Nothing about stupid Premier League. I can do this. I could do this, Alex. I could do this.
Wait,
Alex,
Gloomhaven's down to 3?
your whole life, Alex.
Did someone say Gloomhaven's down to 3?
Yeah, I saw that.
What?
It's Pandemic Legacy now. It got
Pandemic
like
Legacy's number.
voted.
You can't look at the BGG top
I was
100. You're not allowed to Google that right now.
Right. I went away. I did not go.
Not allowed
I didn't
to
go.
Google
I
that
didn't go.
right
I didn't see a thing. I didn't see a thing.
It's
Wow. That's
Okay.
insane. I hate those people. People as children. Anyway, speaking of children, let's go back to our game. Let's take BGG top 100 for 500.
For 500, oof, this one is a meaty question. All right. Asking the question. In the top 10 games of all time... Oh, wait, no, I'm thinking of number 4. Or no, I'm thinking of another one. In the top 10 games of all time, the title with the highest number of votes.
Is it going to be...
Ding.
Jenna.
Oh, I don't know. Is it Azul?
Not in the top 10.
Dang it.
But no, incorrect.
I'm going to go with
Buzz?
Buzz. She said it first.
I think that was Meg that
that
beat
was
you
Meg
there.
first.
The thing is,
It's a few options. I have 3 things I can think of.
I want to say Terraforming Mars, but I think it's wrong.
What is Terraforming Mars?
Oh my
Meg,
gosh.
you just jumped up to 1,600 with that
No!
snag.
Is that what you're
Gloomhaven,
I was going to say
Gloomhaven
Pandemic
has
Legacy.
Gloomhaven has about 55,000, and Terraforming Mars has 87,000 votes.
Wow.
Yep.
That's insane.
Wow.
Yeah. All right. Meg, you've taken the lead. So what do you want to do? You got control of the board.
Let's do components for 500.
Components for 500. All right. Reading off the question, guys. The 2 types of objectives in Stardew Valley.
Buzz?
Hey,
Meg.
I don't even know if this is right. There's the Junimo Community Center. Is this the... I don't even know if this is what I'm answering right. There's the Junimo Community Center, and then there's Grandpa's Goals.
I will give that to you.
I
It's
would
Grandpa's Goals and Community Center bundles.
Yeah.
So, yep. Meg, you just skyrocketed to a
Dang it.
2,100 point
Oh,
position.
no.
So, Meg, the points are on the board for all of you to be able to
Yes.
still
Yep, I know.
win. So,
Mhm.
Meg, but you have
Highly
control of the board
unlikely
now.
for
Let's
there a
do
daily double?
What?
Is there a daily double?
I didn't set that up. I'm sorry.
All good.
I can do a
Let's
Devin
do-
question daily double. I'll just text Jenna the answer and won't tell you to do anything.
Do it. Come on.
Let's
All right,
do
Meg,
BGG
what's up?
top 100 for 200.
BGG top 100 for 200 points. Reading it off, the most recent board game to break into the top 10 games of all time.
Ding.
I question.
I'm losing,
What,
so I
what do
get
you
to
guys
go.
think? Jenna raised her hand before Buzz was said.
I think
By
that
Meg.
Meg gets it by the rules.
Okay.
Feel
Yeah.
bad.
Then Meg, you have it.
Arc Nova?
What is Arc Nova?
That's-
Yeah. I was just hoping you were wrong. I was pretty
2300.
sure it was that one. Wow, Meg.
2,300. All right,
I don't
Meg.
know where this is coming from. BGG top 100 for 300.
Alrighty. The number of Stonemaier Games titles in the top 100.
Buzz.
Alex?
3.
What is 3? Scythe, Wingspan, and Viticulture.
For the record, I was a guess. I was like, I gotta answer soon because I only have so much time before it's not considered fair.
All right, guys, we still have 1,800 points available. Alex, you're in control of the board.
Let's clear out the low numbers. Art and design for 400.
Art and design for 400. All right, reading it off, you guys. The upcoming game designed by David Turksey and Nigel Buckle with art by Ian O'Toole.
Upcoming, like it's in. Could
It's
it
not
be if it's
released
on
yet.
Kickstarter? Does it count as upcoming?
It's
was
already
on Kickstarter.
been on Kickstarter, yeah.
Oh, I don't know the name. Crud. I know the game. Oh,
Watching Alex in distress might be the favorite thing that I do on a weekly basis. I adore
Buzz,
this
Buzz,
right now.
Buzz. It's
Alex,
it's Voidfall.
what is Voidfall?
Nice.
I knew
If
the
one of
game. I'm
you
like,
two-
it's Mind
if
Clash.
one of the two of you had stolen that out from him, I would have.
It's
I
it's
would have
Mind
died
Clash game.
happy.
I just couldn't remember the title. Oh my gosh.
All right, Alex, you pushed up to 1,900. You're within one question of Meg.
What photographic memory for 400?
He's like,
I'm so
his
stressed
blood pressure is like.
because it's so frustrating when you know it and you can't remember.
All right, photographic memory for 400. Reading it off. The name of the inn on the cover of Gloomhaven.
Oh, Buzz.
Meg.
At first, I didn't understand what you said. The inn?
Yes, the name of the inn on
It's
like
the Sleeping Lion.
It is the Sleeping Lion.
We are
Meg
the
takes a
Sleeping Lion.
gigantic. It's still within reach for
Alex.
but Meg has leapt ahead to 2,700.
You can drink them by the flagon, but the only proof
So,
is
Meg-
brave and true.
All Meg has to do is I have to win both of these, basically. That's
You
the
have
only
to win
chance.
both of them, yes.
Okay. Well,
Mm.
Meg, your question. Meg,
You
it's
gotta
your
pick
choice.
what you want, Meg.
Sorry. That was such a good time. Photographic memory for 500.
Photographic memory for 500. Reading the question: What explicit thing do the words Hadrian's Wall appear on for the cover image?
Like a thing
Oh,
that the words
no.
are on?
Jenna, I did this for you. I did this for you.
Buzz?
Buzz, Jenna.
Is it a scroll? Or like a banner? What is a
The
banner?
banner of the Eagle Standard. Yes. So Jenna has single-handedly removed Alex's ability to win, and she
gave
jumps
that
up
one
to
to me.
1,300.
Yay!
Good
No,
job, Meg.
Alex really likes Hadrian's Wall as well. Alex,
Yeah, I do.
that's
I do
one
like
of his
Hadrian's Wall.
favorite rolling rights. So, I tried to find at least games that at least two of you knew a lot.
Mhm.
So,
This is good.
all right. So the last one has to be art and design. Chat. Do we want to make this double points
No,
to give Jenna the possibility
no.
of jumping ahead? Of
Yeah.
No. You can't do it the
Only
last
Alex
minute.
win.
Alex.
At that point, it just turns into anyone's game for the final question. That's that. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So final question is art and design 500. I think this is maybe one of the hardest questions on here, outside of the stupid Devin questions. 4 designers who have 3 games in the BGG Top 100.
Oh, wow.
You have to get at least 4, and there are 8 that I know of.
What? Okay. 1 second. So this is that one.
Or
I'll
designers with
say
three.
designer credits. I'll say designer credits because some of them typically. I'm not going to say more than that. But
I have
4
3.
designers
Oh.
who have 3 games in the top 100.
I have 3.
If you get 3 and you failed, you gotta be careful before you buzz.
Buzz.
Alex.
Isaac Childress. What's it called? Vitalis Erda. Uwe Rosenberg. And who's the freaking guy who runs Garpol Games? What's his name?
Ooh, that's the only one I know.
What's his name? The Garpol Games dude.
I don't know. Bob.
Am I allowed to run into my...
Joey.
First of all, I know. Second of all, there's someone else you should be naming based on a question you've already answered.
What's his name? Is there someone else I know? Garfield
Frederick.
games.
Can I just help?
Shem Phillips.
Phillips?
Are all 4 of those right?
I don't think the first one.
Might
So-
not.
Judging by Devin's face, I don't think it was.
So, incorrect.
No! Oh, is Frosty even not in the top 100 yet? Frosty was not in the top 100 yet! Oh my gosh, that's so stupid!
You just
Oh!
tanked it for yourself.
Oh my gosh!
So you just gave the other 2 a huge leg up.
Buzz?
Meg.
Everyone Alex said minus Isaac, but plus Jamie.
Stegmeyer?
What's his name? Stagmeyer?
Incorrect.
James
Jamie
Stegman does not have a
Minor
credit on
is
Wingspan.
games. So Meg, or, I
Really?
mean Jenna,
He's not on
Jenna,
Wingspan.
you can
I knew
you can
Jamie was
steal
not.
this, Jenna.
Okay. So the other 3 were right?
Don't com-
Lacerda. Oh, sorry. Yeah, I won't say. I won't say anything, but yeah.
Vital Lacerda, Uwe Rosenberg, Shem Phillips. God. What's the guy with the really weird last name that starts with the T?
Tercy?
Oh,
David Tercy?
Turtsy? David Turtsy?
is that your answer?
That is my final answer.
Incorrect.
Who is it?
Oh,
Stefan Feld does
um,
not have, right?
Bruno
So
Is
it is
Lowry?
Vlada
Bruno.
Chvatil, Corey Knitschia, Vital Lacerda, Simone Luciani, Shem Phillips, Alexander Pfister, Uwe Rosenberg, and Daniel Tassini.
Vlad
Yeah,
Schvatel I
that's
should have
fair.
gotten.
I was wondering if you would get that one. Yeah.
I should have got
Dang.
that.
Through the ages and code names and stuff.
That's a good question. I like it. I like it.
Yeah.
Like you gave there were 8 options and you didn't make people guess all 8. That's good question skills. Oh my gosh. Great. Very congratulations, Meg.
Fun. That was fun.
Oh,
This is
that was the
blowing my
game.
mind. I didn't know Jamie's wasn't on Wingspan.
He's not on Wingspan. That's the only one I knew he wasn't. That's the reason I did it. I was like, if he only has 3 and I
Yeah.
know he's not on Wingspan, I knew he wasn't eligible.
That's crazy.
Now, to be fair, there might be more people than those 8. That list was from 2 years ago, but I did check back, and Isaac Childress frightened me because I was like, "Did Frosthaven already jump in?"
No,
I was like, "I didn't."
I should.
It's
It
like
should. It wouldn't
560
have.
right
Yeah.
now.
Yeah. It's gonna make its way up slowly, but that makes sense. It was stupid of me.
Yep. Can I close out on the Skype thing?
You can close on the Skype thing.
Cool beans.
Good job, Devin.
Well, Meg wins with 2,700. Alex had 1,900, and Jen had 1,300. Did you
Oh,
guys have a
Started
good time?
down.
That was excellent. Yeah. Yeah.
Do I get a
That's how all
car
of my
or
board
a new
games go.
lawnmower?
Do you get a what?
A car or a new lawnmower?
Uh,
Something?
Are you just saying
Yes.
lawnmower because I'm from Arkansas? Like, what the heck? Like, okay,
No,
like
you
just
just
because
like random things
because
like
we like
cheese.
devices like that doesn't mean that that's the kind of stuff that we give out for prizes.
Anyways, good job, Devin. I appreciate that. I might start doing Jeopardy
That was
in
fun.
general. I really like the
Yeah,
format
that
and the
was fun.
category. Yeah, they're very cool. With that, though, moving on to our Patreon sponsored segment. Everyone who is here for the entertainment's done, and now we're just back to serious things, sort of. But the the Patreon sponsored segment is going to be when and how is gaming a problem? And this is open-ended. We can figure out exactly how we want to jump around. Usually we just jump around person to person, picking whatever. But when and how is gaming a problem? Interpret it however you like. I don't know, but like, I'll start off with, I guess, the most basic one, which I know is certainly a problem, especially when I have things to get done, which is gaming too much. In general, board gaming is a hobby that I adore. And the problem with enjoying something as much as I do, and also being able to double count it as work, it does mean that sometimes there's other things that I have that are work, and those things get deprioritized because I could play a game, and it's also even work. And so I play games, and then I play more games. And I get plenty of work done, make no mistake, but it's one of those things that it certainly can be, just like anything that you enjoy, it can be something that sucks up your time in a way that is not always healthy. And setting healthy boundaries could be a good thing, however you want to do it, but that's the first way, just offhand.
Mm-hmm.
I agree.
Jenna, you go. The three of us always never shut up, so you talk.
Another one, which is pretty basic, but just financial. Buying too many board games, spending money that you probably shouldn't on games, for sure.
Super true.
Mhm.
Yep, I have that on my list as well, 100%. It's It's a balance, and just like the other one, many of these things are often like we can do it and we can get away with it, and we're not pushing the envelope too far, but you still might be pushing it further than you need to. Like even right now, like I'm currently in the middle of Set a Watch has a deluxe pledge over on Kickstarter, and I'm like, I don't need it. I don't need it. I've gotten rid of the game twice. I don't need it, and I'm trying to actively convince myself not to get this. And like, what's the big deal?
Game.
But like,
I'll
I don't
play
need
it
it.
too.
You have it. You took one of my copies. That's one of the times I got rid of it. But yeah, it's something that I'm actively deciding not to back that right now, and I'm using all my self-control because I know I have so many games that I love that I'm not getting to, but I still have this struggle that I want it. I want all of it.
I don't need a home. I can live in my igloo of board games.
I mean, honestly, if you get a bunch of like, Kickstarters or something, you have really enough
Good.
heavy-duty cardboard to probably construct a mobile
Really
home.
nice house.
One of the lines I heard once was like, "You see, I told you
By
I could fit
Arkansas
all
standards.
like, see, I told you I could fit all our board games into a box. Stop calling our house a box." Yeah.
Oh no, I think for me, when it's a problem is when it takes away from other responsibilities. I think it's not necessarily just a problem as a hobby. I think it's a unique problem for us as content creators because, like a movie critic, you can watch a movie and it's an hour and a half, and you're like, all right, okay, I'm going to review this movie. And just kind of like the way that this is like, oh, like we have to play the game 4 times. We also have to learn it and then teach it to people. And like the actual amount of background time that we need to play a game for work that isn't even necessarily, I mean, every now and then you can have a nice overlap where doing games for work can still be games for fun. And you just like, it's a nice center spot in the Venn diagram. But I do think it's a time consuming hobby. And like, yeah, you can spend a lot of money on it, and yeah, you could do it to the extent of not doing other things, but it also is just like, it is a hobby that takes a lot more time than other hobbies based off of, the average playtime of a game. So I do think that it can be very time consuming. And like, thankfully, I'm playing Role Player Adventures with Amber right now, so I'm getting time with my wife while getting to play a game. But, if I needed to cover a game and it was something that I knew she wasn't interested in, I'm obligated to do stuff that is taking me into the last week, you absolute maniac.
As long as I grab games that are on BGA, I'm going to knock through this in 2 seconds. Meg, you want to learn Caverna?
So, yeah.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
I'm ready. I am the problem.
It's not a problem, guys. Guys, it's not a problem. Board games aren't a problem. I don't know why this is a question. It's not a problem.
For me, the first thing I thought of when you said like this topic, is when games aren't working the way they should socially. So like when you obviously you want to play a game with friends because you want to have a good time with friends, and when that flips and for whatever reason because something got competitive or misunderstood or there's just certain feelings in it, that I've had some games go poorly and not result in like the night that it should have for people, and I really dislike that I think it's sometimes just a bunch of different factors, like again maybe how they're playing, if they made misplays, if you maybe made a joke that came across the wrong way because you're being competitive, or you did a move that seems very competitive but you're actually just doing what you were doing but it came across as like very cutthroat. I think that when games get in the way of like relationships, it can be very tough to walk back.
Yeah, that's fair. And along those lines, one of the things I have in general is just juggling relationships around prioritizing board games. I know that, and it's a weird thing to call it a problem, but I know that practically speaking, the relationships in my life that have grown are those that are centered around board games because it's the hobby that I love. And it's great to have relationships grow, that's not a problem, but it is interesting because sometimes it means other relationships I have, other friends that I have that don't share the passion for the hobby, those relationships have certainly gone down a notch. They're just not gone down, but in comparison to where I spend my time, I spend less time with those people because we don't have the shared hobby at the same time. And something to be mindful of, that you are maintaining the relationships that you prioritize, whether or not they're centered around the thing that you really enjoy, and to find other opportunities to connect with those people if those relationships are important to you. And it's something that I actively have to spend time doing because I have so many friends, both within the board game space and outside the board game space, but I have so many friends that love board games that naturally those are the relationships I tend to focus on, and I need to be mindful of keeping those other ones alive and in check.
Sure. I mean, I think it's a tricky thing to balance. I do think, Alex, like if I could give any advice, like when you and I first met and you gave me like that survey and I was like, how many times you played Terraforming Mars? Like, what's the minimum time you'll sit down to play a board game? How many board games in the top 100 can you list?
Everyone
like
knows
that
you're
kind of
lying.
stuff is a little bit.
Everyone knows you're lying, Devin. Do you know why everyone knows you're lying? Because you put the Terraforming Mars question on there, and if that survey was real, you and I wouldn't be friends.
Oh my goodness. No, I don't know. I think I don't know if they're not as too much of a problem. I feel like for me they're like a business problem in terms of like trying to negotiate the right amount of time to spend towards board games for this. I'm probably terrible at actually doing board game, like assigning enough time for board games well outside of this. So I don't know. I feel like Alex.
Well, for me,
and
I think
probably have a different level of truth.
Most of these things I think aren't necessarily. I would say that to me, this list is not necessarily about things that are a problem, but they're things that could be problems, and some of them I dance with. I don't think that I have. I think a bunch of these I dance with. I think I do.
Would love to see you dance with those.
I've danced with you, buddy. I think that some of these are games that are problems that I dance around with in terms of just like I don't spend more than I can afford to on board games, but I do spend more than I should. I don't hurt and kill my other relationships, but I do know that it's something I'm mindful of and I have to balance. Many of these problems for me are things that I skirt, but for some they might not be problems at all, and for some they might be problems that people actively have. And it's one of those things that's interesting, like when do you define something as even being a problem? Like there are people who have collections, like actively, you see this on Facebook groups all the time, there are people who have collections of like 700 games and they don't even play them, they just like collecting them. But if that's towards their goals and they're being financially responsible, it may not even be a problem. But in general, there's a lot of things within the hobby. As soon as you have something that you care about to an irrational degree, there's the potential for problems. How that manifests is up to us to control. And whether it is or isn't a problem or not. Like even right now, for instance, one of the things on my list is the idea that, you might spend so much time chasing new games that you don't play the games you love. Is that really a problem? Not really, but like it means you are spending time, effort, and money when the things you love are right there in front of you that you know you enjoy. I could sit there and play my favorite games again and again and again and not get tired of them, and yet, even aside from the fact that I do this for content, I've always chased new games because I always want to find the newest thing I enjoy. Because if I didn't chase new games, how would I find Mythic Mischief? How would I find DAI? How would I find Primal? But then I'm not focusing on the fact that I'm still spending less time playing Blood Rage and Terraforming Mars, and add to the list the mediocre games that I sit there and play through on the way of trying to find these other great games. And so it is a balance, and there's a balance in play here, but there's potential for real problems, and then just a question of how do you sit there and try to make sure that this hobby is both as amazing as it is, but also as least unhealthy as it can be.
Alex is just looking for that game to settle down with.
Just that one perfect game. Just that one perfect game.
Special game.
They have to understand me, talk to me, give me time and attention.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
And any other ones, Jenna, Meg, that you guys thought about?
I have like more of like an internal problem, I guess, that I recently, I don't know if this is because I'm in board game content creation, but in everyday life, if I have too many things, and when I'm referring to that, I mean like too many board games unplayed, I start kind of shutting down, and there's too many things to do, so I just don't end up doing any of it, if that makes sense. So I've discovered recently that I'm starting to get a lot more board games than I can play, and so it kind of internally stresses me out, I guess.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I get that. I
have
recently,
so many games.
No, I relate to that a lot. I have been pretty aggressive about culling things over the last year and a half or so. I think I have undiagnosed symptoms of like is ADHD. So like for me, yeah. And so like when you said that, I was like, oh, 100%. Just like to me, like the clutter of having too much stuff means that I can't I need to be able to see what I have. If I can't see a game, I just don't remember that I have it. Yeah. And then like I've talked about that, like I mean the Calyx is not currently back there; it's in another room right now. But like the trove chest is gorgeous. but it fills up the whole Kallax with like no seams left. And so I'm like, oh, that is a nice picture, and there's no game there.
Yeah.
And but like compound that when you get to the point where you have a bunch of games and you like so much. And yeah, I think it's like the sense of the cumulative pressure of all of them makes it to where it's like paralysis sets in, and you're like, well,
exactly.
I guess
I'm just not
I'm
playing
gonna go
anything.
watch a movie now in a different room, not this one.
Yeah.
So I know I get that for sure.
Mhm.
I think trying to keep a manageable amount of stuff. Yeah, no, like yeah, I'm with you on that one for sure. I think for me, kind of going off of what Meg said, I really liked what you said, Meg, because I don't necessarily consider it a problem with gaming. I consider it a problem of who you game with. And it's like you can have a terrible experience with people, whether it's cooperative or competitive. It's really not. It's just who you bring to those experiences can drastically change like the narrative of how that night goes. And social deduction games where I've had games of like coup and stuff like that where I've had couples and the one partner lies to the other one, which is like the point of the game, and they would just be like, you will fear me the next 3 days, like this is over between us. And so it's like where people have how they feel in the game, they extrapolate that and take that out into how they feel in real life, and it makes everything awkward because like games at their core are a set of rules that everybody agrees to abide by. And it's also like, to me, it's the same thing as like a movie or a book. Like you have the suspension of disbelief where you're like, I'm going to put away the world for a second and I'm going to operate by these rules and I'm going to accept these rules. And you're like, if you're watching a fantasy movie, you're like, okay, people can fly. There are elves, there are dwarves, all that kind of stuff. And in the game, you're like, I'm going to be okay by operating this way, either with my decisions mentally or my attitude, my personality, if it's a game that you have to role play or that you have to. And if somebody isn't good at filtering what's happening in the game to what's happening in real life, it is so uncomfortable for me. Because like I try to win every game that I play, but I also don't get stressed if I lose. I'm just gonna try and win. But like other people will just be like, oh, I lost, or like Meg, like you said, like you can sometimes like people would just they'll interpret like what you do is they're like, oh, you did hurt me, and you're like, no, I did that because there are 4 spaces, and that is a 25% chance of me going to that space. And you're like, but you went to that space to hurt me, and it's like, I don't think you understand math and the likelihood there are 4 of us around the table. I had to go to one of the spots. So yeah, people sometimes are the problem with games, I think.
And there are a lot of different ways for it to go wrong, because sometimes I've had that happen, but then sometimes I have a friend that I would play with that just didn't understand like engine building really and like those types of games, that they would watch me start doing well and then internalize on themselves and be like, I'm an idiot, like how am I not understanding this, and then like start feeling. And I would be like, oh, it's, and I would try to like diffuse the situation, and there was no anger and nothing at all toward me, but instead they just started internalizing it all and being like, how am I so dumb that I'm not getting how to play this? And it's just like, there's so many different ways for games to go bad.
Yeah. See, I just go into the game being like, I'm an idiot, and then there's no downward process. It's only up from there. Like when you're like,
when so many games get out of here, you can say that you win so often.
I mathematically, I think you guys.
It's not that he wins a lot. It's just that the games he wins in are usually take much longer.
I was just gonna say I start off a game just knowing that I'm going to just enjoy the journey, and not if I win or lose.
Yeah.
And it turns out good.
Yeah, and I do.
Played in the Jeopardy. He's also okay with just the journey of it. He's not worried about like winning it all. It's just he's okay with the journey.
I don't care at all if I win or lose. I'm happy if I won.
It's a mind class game.
It's that. That's the aspect. The aspect of me knowing it and not being able to come up with it. Who wins or who loses is kind of material, but you have to try. Trying is part of the experience. But like it is interesting. Like I do understand I do understand the problem of Most games I am fine at. I win some, I lose some, but like most of the time I can see the puzzle. But there have been some games, and I remember trick taking was actually like this for me way back in the beginning. Trick taking was something that when I first started playing trick taking games, I was like, I don't understand at all why it's okay. Just play a card. Just play a card. Okay, great. Just higher number wins. Congratulations, you have a good hand. Like I did not understand at all the nuance of why trick taking worked in strategy, and then I would lose a lot, and I just didn't like trick taking. I was like, I don't see how this works. And now I'm starting to, and I don't love all trick-taking games, but I've started to appreciate it more and finally learn how it worked, and now I'm like, some I don't like, just like any other game. But I understand the frustrations of not understanding, and like I've seen it at the table as well. Like I've seen it a lot with, especially when I have new players who enter a game night, sometimes they're new players who learn to love board games, and other times they're new players who this is not their jam, this is not their hobby. And like you're trying to like explain things and really guide them smoothly, but they're at a table with 4 other people who know what's going on, and it's hard not to feel stupid, even when there's no fault on your end.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I'll add, because classic Devin wasn't prepared for this conversation and was just letting you guys kind of lead the.
I love it. Devin's approach to this conversation was like, I got one problem. After that, honestly, I'm kind of a well-balanced individual, and I don't have that many problems. Anyone want to talk about sports? Sports?
No, but the one thing that I can think of, and this is it's a blessing and a curse, but I'm going to focus on the negative side of it, and it is really like.
Did you use that phrase because you saw it in chat just now?
Genuinely not. That just was coincidental in timing.
That was beautiful. No, I believe you. I didn't think it didn't line up, but I was like, that is beautiful.
So is the online, like the social media and the online world that exists around gaming, and I'm just thinking of the ways in which people get in the way of each other. Like, someone wants to practice restraint, and they're like, and so their mindset is, I don't like the FOMO, I don't like the Kickstarter, get in and get out, or you don't get anything. So their mindset is on restraint, or on trying to see through the marketing hype and being a discerning consumer or buyer necessarily. And so they'll approach discourse one way online in the gaming community and on, groups and stuff like that. And then you have someone else that's like, they're like, hey, I work hard, I have a disposable income, I get excited by this stuff. And, sometimes like collecting is the joy for me and not necessarily making sure I play everything. And if we're the ones backing it, then, we're the ones saying, keep doing this to these companies. And I'm okay with that. And so they have a completely different perspective on it. But the digital militia or like forefront of those arguments can butt heads really aggressively, and so like that it's hard sometimes to have a measured middle ground like viewpoint or thought about something, or even if you lean one way for a thought or a perspective on how you feel in the hobby, you might have your own personal grounded reasoning for why you think that way, why you are that way. And then, like Jenna's, like, exactly what Jenna said. She's like, I like having, I just enjoy the journey. I enjoy the stuff. And so maybe she's like, a game like, Everdell or Creature Comforts is really like familiar and warm and comfortable to me, and then that's why she's engaging with those games. And then you might have someone that goes, well, those don't have enough strategy, and it's completely charm over substance, it's lacking, it doesn't have any depth to it, and it's really just like, it's just pushing this lame like light side of gaming that I think really is like watering down and diluting the hobby. And it's almost like people are poised to be aggressive about someone approaching the hobby and their mentality from a different perspective. And I think that can be a real problem, because, and it's not necessarily gaming, it's just online discourse applied to the gaming world and the board game industry. And I think that is a very bad, like, big negative, because at the end of the day, I'm usually the person that's in the middle, like, let's all get along. And they're like, you're with us or you're against us, but both sides say that, so
yeah, everyone takes their opinions a little bit too personally, I guess.
It happens. It does.
Well, that's not a very good opinion.
I was debating using like I was like, no, I don't. But I was like, no. Let's try to be adults here.
Yeah. Try to be adult.
No, I'm glad you didn't. Like, I wanted to. But this way I get to make my line, but you're the one who looks like the one who did it. But anyways, overall, the hobby is something I very much am in love with. And if I thought it was negative, I wouldn't be here and I wouldn't be doing things. And in comparison to some hobbies, I think it's significantly, obviously more positive. And in comparison to other hobbies, there could be things that are still problems about it. Ultimately, to me, I still think gaming is one of the better hobbies a person can have for a variety of reasons in terms of just healthiness. To be friends with me, the social aspect of it, the mental challenge it provides. There's a lot of things to enjoy about this hobby, and it's just a question of trying to do so as responsibly as possible in whatever way works for you. You kind of have to know your own boundaries of what is and isn't a problem. If you have plenty of disposable income, buy whatever you want. Who cares? What's the issue? Hoarding money is not helping anyone. There's all these conversations around. Everyone has to figure out what is their line and what's their problem. What's the balance there? But it's a lot. It's a lot to balance. But I'm happy that I'm happy this is the hobby that I love.
Yep. Could be spending your money on some worse things.
Yeah, one of those pictures I've always enjoyed seeing is when pictures like show piles of board games and like it could be worse. It could be cocaine. I'm like, yeah, it could be. It could be worse.
Exactly.
But yeah,
but cocaine might be able to if you make that a business,
the profit margin is much better.
Board games.
Profit margin is much
better. You could buy so many more board games.
Yeah. But with that, we're going to go ahead and wrap up the weekly live. Thank you to our special guest, Jenna. You can check her out at the Board Game Garden.
We're gonna play Feast for Odin.
Absolutely,
this, right?
Of course. After this.
Right.
After this, not even a question. But in the meantime, everyone else, we might see you next week. There is the possibility that there's not a live stream next week. We'll figure it out. But I would say expect one.
Stream?
There's gonna be chaos streams. Yeah, absolutely.
Jenna, when are you coming down to the U.S.?
I'm working on it.
I want to.
We're trying to convince her to come in for the July convention. You coming for that, Devin? You coming for that?
Oh, yes.
Cool. Yes. Excellent. Yeah, we're trying to do that.
Sorry, you said a month, and I was like, that's a whole month, Alex. There's a lot of things that happen in a month.
Yes.
Aww.
But only one convention that I know of.
Thanks
anyways.
everyone in chat.
Yes.
Y'all are so nice.
Yeah. We're going to go ahead and wrap it, everyone. Oh, wait, no, Meg, go ahead.
Remind people you're the Board Game Garden on YouTube, and what's your Twitch?
Twitch is the Board Game Garden as well.
It's Board Game Garden
TV.
There's a Board Game Garden TV as her YouTube channel where she hosts the Twitch after.
Go follow and subscribe to Jenna, and if you don't, you have to unsubscribe and unfollow for me.
Yeah.
Go find all of them, please.
Yeah,
all or nothing. All or nothing.
Thank you all, and we'll see you next week.